It's my day off and I'm making a pot place mat. Place mat for pots. So the easiest part to this is cutting out the circles. Literally draw around. I drew around my largest pan and then cut the circle out and then did the stencils for the fabric and the back. And I've done a little cutout, which is going to be, there's more than enough there, but that's going to be for a loop to hang it up if I want to hang it up. So at the moment, just moving across to here, what I'm going to do, sorry, I'm going to bind it just to try it out, see what it's like. So there'll be a binding goes all the way around there, all the way around the outside. And I ummed and ahed about which fabric to bind it with, but I thought that'd look better. So that's what I'm doing. So measure the circumference, and I want a little bit of extra on top, so I've done up to 35. It's going to be quite a thick binding, so when you do your binding, you bear in mind that the two sides fold in onto each other and then that folds in half. I've got a binding maker, so I'm going to cut out my strip first. I'll just actually show you the bindy thing. That's it. So this is a 4 centimetre one, which means that it's quite a nice big one. So you cut out a 4 centimetre strip, you feed it through here, and as you're pulling it through, you iron it, and then that gives you your binding. So whatever comes out of there, if you can imagine, that will fold in half around the circumference of the pot placemat. So it takes a little bit of jiggery pokery getting it in and pushing it backwards and forwards until you get what you need there. And then with this handle, you can just pull it through while you're ironing it. I've got enough fabric left. I wouldn't mind doing myself a new ironing board cover with it as well. But I'd have to get some more Insulbrite for that. It does take a little bit of getting used to till you get in the flow of it. It's just gone a little bit off skew whiff. Let's pull it back. That's it. There. Like that. There you go. My first fail. I've only just started. So the binding, I thought I could be really cut close to the edge, and I think the binding would cover that little bit at the end, but it won't. The binding it'll just nip it, and I just don't think it'll look right. Won't go to waste. No, it's just tiny bit off. Won't go to waste. I can make a smaller one for that. Smaller pot placemat. Somebody come up with a different name for it, please. All right. I've made my binding anyway. The reason I just wanted to try a new technique rather than the inside out and turn it inside out and top stitch, just to see what it's like, because I know that binding on a curve is really difficult, so I wanted to test it and see if I could do it. And what you do, which is what I did with my oven glove, is once you've binded one side on, you snip all the way around, and I'm hoping it works, but I want to see it. You can also, if you do a lot longer binding, include the loop in it, which I haven't tried before, but I'm just going to stick with the one that I'm going to make myself and turn inside out. Who's that messaging me? Oh yeah, okay, it's the lady for the fabric remnants. Hang on. Right, that's good. So she's going to pick them up in morning, collect them in morning. So that's that bag out of the house, out of the way. All right, on with my pot place mat. Let's do this. I've put my walking foot back on. I don't think I will need the hump jumper tool, which I mentioned in another video. I'm doing that many different videos, I get mixed up on what I've said on what video. But anyway, yeah, I've got a hump jumper. Okay, so what am I doing? Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to join these three together. So that's the bottom bit, the middle bit, which is the Insel Bright heat resistant thingy-my-bobby that I use for my oven mitts, and then there's the cover. And I'm going to quilt all of them together so that the quilts on the stitch and the quilts on both sides. So I'm going to mark that up next. So in case you didn't know, on another video I was cleaning out my bedroom and had a bag full of fabric remnants left over from projects, and a lady from the WI is gonna, she's just messaged me to say she's gonna collect them in the morning, pick them up and make really good use out of the fabric scraps. So that's that out of the house. Onto the pot placemats. Got these three that I'm now going to join together. No, sorry, I'm not going to do that. Don't be silly, Cheryl. The backing one, I'm not going to quilt with these. I'm going to quilt this first, and then I'll add that on, and then lastly the binding. Right, quilting. I'm going to iron it now, just see if that pen really does disappear when you iron it. Oh, now look at that, it doesn't last long. That's nearly empty. Huh. You've got to watch this. This is great. It's gone. That is just magic. I've heard of them before, but I've never tried them. Oh, look at that. I love it. I'll never use chalk again. Oh, fabulous. It's the little things. Right, I'm going to attach the back now. I'm really impressed with that. I've just realised something. Because I'm putting the binding on all the way around, so I'm folding it all the way around, I've nowhere to put my loop to hang it up. I'm going to have to think that through. I don't think I've left enough on this to do the loop, if I'm honest. I could extend that quite easily. I'm just being lazy. I think what I'll do, I'll put it on, I'll sew it together first, put this on and see how much I've got left. And if I haven't got enough left to make a loop, then I'll extend it. I'll just have to do it whilst it's on the pot mat. That's a better name. Pot mat. Pot mat. Right, okay. I'm going to take this really slow. So I'm going to leave myself a bit on the end there for joining them both together, or doing the loop and then joining them together. And then I'm going to start here and stitch all the way around, just really carefully, nice and slow. As I'm going round, I keep having to just lift that and ease the fabric to keep it straight so it doesn't bunch. So I keep my needle down just to keep straightening it up. So it's a bit of a slow process. Just a tiny bit at a time. I think I'll stick to the inside out method next time on the next one. They won't be matching, but I don't think it'll matter too much. I've got a little girl behind me who's getting bored. She's woke up and she's very quickly thinking it's 2 o'clock. It sure as does at 2 o'clock. And it's her time to go out. I do think, yeah, I am. I'm going to have enough fabric for a loop. I've given myself plenty of extra fabric, so that's good news. Nearly there, Willow. We'll go out. Now I'm coming to the end, so you can see I've got enough there to make a loop. So I'm going to join those two together, which basically take it out of the machine and sew across there. And then when you pull them back together, it'll just be like one piece of binding fabric. And then I can figure out my loop. I think my loop will be right at the end. I'll finish doing all of this first, put the other side of the binding on, and then fathom the loop out, I think. So because I'm working this out myself, I'm kind of working it out as I go along. So after what I said, joining those two ends together and then attaching this on that side, when you come to the ends, it's going to be kind of a little kiss cross bit where you run the fabric off as a strip, and then yeah. Hang on a minute, hang on. Sorry, this is really fiddly, and I maybe should look up a video on it, but I just wanted to fathom it out myself, see if I could do it myself. So the two ends joined together, we know that. I've clipped this to remind myself of how it goes, or how I would do it. So the first one, it continues off, so it runs off the disc, and just as it runs off, you'd stop sewing and fold that back like that. And then this one will come over, scoop over it, but also start to run off like that. And then it becomes a loop with a tidy finish on either side. We shall see. We shall see. After this, I mean, keep watching to the end because I'm going to do a profit thing on it. I've looked these type of things up online, and the prices that you can buy these for. So I wanted to do like a little profit making thing if I was to consider making these and selling them. Get this first bit out of the way and join these two together. That's done. So I'm going to just iron that little bit apart and then bring it in so it's one piece. I've trimmed off all of the excess off this in here, just to take the bulk out so that the binding folds over nice and easy. And I've done some clipping as well so it spreads better so we don't get any bunching. So I'm going to stitch this on now and go all the way around and hopefully get to the loop and know what to do. I've stitched those two together so that's nice and neat and tidy. Yeah, wish me luck. Just onto the end bit, really complicated bit. Oi, so making this up as I go along. I'm coming to the end here, and with this loop, I've folded this end in and across, and then this strip is coming over it. Hopefully, hopefully it'll work. Oh, it's finished. I tried to be a bit clever with the loop and I made it really difficult. It's still a little bit untidy. I made it really difficult for myself. I mean, it's done. It'll hang. There it is. But I would definitely do the loop differently next time. Watch a video, see how they do it. I didn't want anything tucked under and sticking out, so I wanted it to overlap and cross, and I just made a bit of a mess of it. But there you go. I'm calling it a pan mat to keep it simple. Now you can buy these from Dunelm. They do these, call them cooker pads, and they do these in the Strawberry Faith, would you believe, pattern with the terry toweling flannel on the back, except they quilt that side and this side is flat, and they're £12 each per pad, and people buy these off Etsy as well for around about £15 for Aga hobs. They put them on top of their Aga hobs and make them, just to cover the hobs and make them look pretty. But I'm using mine as a pan mat to protect my worktop. I don't know if I've got it in me to make another one in the near future, but when I do, I'll let you know. Thank you so much for watching. I have a pan mat. See you on the next one. Bye.